All right. So what medical expenses can be included in your tax deductions? Okay. This is kind of interesting, guys. And, if anybody wants to pipe in, 257-5396, 257-KDWN, or 1-877-DOC-DALI, DOCDALI. Number one on the list, here we go. And number one, because it's alphabetical, is abortion. You can include in medical expenses the amount you pay for legal abortion. Okay. Now, remember, you got to read the fine line. If it's an illegal abortion, you can't write it off. So I guess the abortion has to be legal, and you could write this off. Acupuncture. You can include in medical expenses the amount you pay for acupuncture. Okay, now that's pretty cool, and I agree with that. I think acupuncture is extremely therapeutic. It's great for migraines and back pain and irritable bowel syndrome and all sorts of stuff. So if you could write off acupuncture, that's great. Alcoholism. All right, you could write off alcoholism. This is what it says. You can include in medical expenses amounts you pay for an inpatient's treatment at a therapeutic center for alcohol addiction and lodging. So if there's a place that you stay for your alcoholic treatment, you could write that off. It also can include what you pay for transportation to and from your AA meetings. All right, so if you take a limo to your AA meeting, I bet you could write that off. All right, that's great. Ambulance, you can write off ambulance, artificial limb. Any expenses you have, right, with an artificial limb, you could write those off. Artificial teeth. If you have artificial teeth, right, that could also be a medical deduction. I mean, these are great. Bandages. You can include in medical expenses the cost of medical supplies such as bandages. Now, I know a box of $1.50 bandages, if you're able to qualify using that, your income must really, really, really be low. But, a lot of people that have, let's say, diabetic foot ulcers or sacral ulcers or bed sores, these bandages start getting expensive. We aren't talking about the SpongeBob SquarePants bandages. We're talking about, the packing and the 4x4s and the tapes and the irrigation fluid. This adds up. And what you guys need to do is write all these down, delineate it, itemize it, okay? Birth control pills. You can include in medical expenses the amount you pay for birth control pills described by a doctor. All right? Braille books and magazines. You can include in medical expenses the part of the cost of Braille books and magazines for use by the visually impaired person. Now, hopefully they know where to write this down, but I'm sure they have IRS forms in Braille. And if you had breast reconstruction surgery, that might be a medical deduction. Okay, I'm starting to sound like Jeff Foxworthy now, aren't I? These are now redneck jokes. I do have a redneck joke. Can I slip in a redneck joke, Jim? All right. Jim said I could. Okay, real quick redneck joke, okay? I got a quick one. Here we go. If you walk into a Las Vegas buffet and get all ticked off that they ain't serving any armadillo, you might be a redneck. All right. We got to get back to work. Okay, no more redneck jokes. Okay, we got to get back to work. Here we are on the Dr. Daliah Show talking about medical deductions. One more. No. I can't do one more. All right, come on. We got a lot of, okay, one more. One last redneck joke. One last one, real quick. We got to hurry before somebody turns on the radio and actually listens to my show. All right, here we go. Redneck joke. Last one. If you are at the county fair and are in dire need of a tampon, so you decide to use your stick of cotton candy, you might be a redneck. Okay, that's horrible. We really, really need to get back to work here, people. Come on. We are talking about medical deductions right now on the Dr. Daliah Show, how to save money on your taxes. This is really, really, really important stuff, okay? Let's get back to business. 1-877-DOC-DALI, 1-877-DOC-DALI, or 257-5396. 257-KDWN. Okay, now this is going to pertain to a lot of us, okay? These are expenses that you do to your house. All right. A lot of times you bring in a family member and you may not be wheelchair or American Disability ADA compliant, and you need to lower kitchen cabinets. You need to maybe lower kitchen counters. All of these are deductible. All right. If you have to construct an entrance or exit ramp for your house, again, tax deductible. Widening the doorways at entrances or exits to your home. Now, some of us have gained some weight and we do need a wider doorway. Again, it has to accommodate the home for a disabled condition. Even though I think obesity is disabling, that may not qualify. So again, run this by your accountant. Modifying your hallways or interior doorways could be a tax deduction. Installing railings, support bars, or modifications to bathrooms. I think if any of you have an elderly person in your house that is very weak, they should have some sort of, protection in the shower, like these railings, like a little wheelchair or like a little stool that they could sit on when they shower, because falls in the shower are very, very common and they're very, very deadly. So these are things that sometimes you could actually get written off for your taxes. Like I said, you could lower the kitchen cabinets, modify the kitchen cabinets. You could move or modify electrical outlets. Some of these electrical outlets are just too high up or unable to get to. And installing porch lifts and other forms of lifts. Okay. But elevators generally add value to the house. They talk about. Now, this is big. A lot of people now, the in thing is to have an elevator in your house. Because remember in the good old days, remember on Up, the gentleman on Up, he had a rail on this. He had like a chair on the stairway. So he would sit on the chair and the stairway would bring him down. Those aren't really popular anymore, having an elevator in your house. So there's a way that elevator, there's a chance that elevator could be tax deductible. I don't know how much it costs to put an elevator in the house. I think it's like $20,000, $30,000, but that sounds pretty good. Now, if you have to modify your fire alarm, smoke detectors, that'll do it. Modify your stairways, adding extra handrails or grab bars. The doors. Door handles, a lot of our door handles are not very accessible to disabled people. Those things you could change. And then grading the ground to provide access to the residents. If you can't actually put in a ramp, you may have to kind of play around with your, the ground, maybe add extra dirt and change the grade of it. All right, this is the Dr. Daliah Show, 257-5396, 257-KDWN. I am trying to save you money on your taxes, your car. All right, you could possibly write off costs of your car. If you have to put special hand controls or other special equipment installed in the car for the disability, right, that could save you money. Chiropractors, if you see a chiropractor, you could write that off. Your contact lenses, you can write off the cost of your contact lenses. Dental treatment, this is great, guys, dental treatment. You can include in your medical expenses the amounts you pay for the prevention and alleviation of dental disease. They're saying right here, this can include x-rays, fillings, braces, whatnot. And we talked about also your dentures. So all that stuff, you guys, you have to write that down. You have to give it to your accountant if he doesn't ask you. Let me see what else they have here. Drug addiction. All right. Any drug addicts out there? You can include in medical expenses amounts you pay for your inpatient treatment and the lodging at the drug center. So that's pretty nice, okay? Eyeglasses, your glasses. If you could write off contact lenses, you guys could write off your glasses. Eye surgery. Now get this, okay? And you guys could read whatever you want into this. You can include in medical expenses the amount you pay for eye surgery to treat defective vision, such as laser eye surgery. To me, this means LASIK is tax deductible. How many of us got LASIK and we forgot to write it off? I forgot to write it off? Wow. Fertility enhancement. All right. In vitro fertilization. You know how expensive that is? In vitro fertilization and surgery for that. Boom. That's tax deductible. A guide dog or other service animal. You can include in medical expenses the cost of buying, training, and maintaining a guide dog or other service animal to assist you if you have physical disabilities or hearing impaired. Now, my cat actually does act as a guide animal, because in the morning, he's so stupid. He'll sit there in front of the bathroom. That's where he likes to lie, on the tile in front of the bathroom. So when I wake up, in the middle of the night or early morning, I have to pee. The way I find the bathroom is if I step on him and he goes, meow. That's where the bathroom is. So I use my cat as a guide. Maybe I could write that off also. Hearing aids, home care, insurance premiums, guys. Your insurance premiums are tax deductible. Now, of course, if you get any reimbursement back, that you have to subtract. But your insurance premiums, tax deductible. Oh, I love it. I love it. Gosh, what else do they say? Lead-based paint removal. You can include in medical expenses the cost of removing lead-based paints from the surfaces in your home to prevent a child from eating the paint. All right. Now, I don't know if we really use lead-based paint out here, because Southwest is kind of new. We have newer homes, but in your older homes, you could do that. Okay, now lodging. I talked about when you go to your AA meetings or let's say if you're, having like an inpatient alcoholic withdrawal program. I wonder if Tiger Woods could write off the sex addiction place he went to. I think he could. But, what about the lodging when you have to go down to Mayo Clinic or you have to go to UCLA for your health care? All right. You can write off the lodging, but it has to be primarily for medical care. Okay. Can't be for vacation. All right. The medical care had to be provided by a doctor or licensed hospital. You can't say you went to your mother-in-law. Right. The lodging is not lavish or extravagant under the circumstances, and there is no significant element of personal pleasure, recreation, or vacation in the travel away from home. Okay? So you guys can't be renting movies. You can't be putting quarters into the vibrating beds. All right? You can't be doing that. All right. So, meals, nursing home, your medicines, itemize those medicines, oxygen, and pregnancy test. You can include in medical expenses the amount you paid for pregnancy tests. Imagine all the money my parents would have saved in middle school. All right, guys, we are going to be coming up back with Dr. Daliah's show, Sassy, Sexy, Stimulating Medical Talk Radio. We'll be right back.